Hey everyone, welcome back to my video. If you're watching this video right now, the chances are you had some form of education, whether in the past or in the present. And you probably know that there's a lot going on in school. All the homeworks and classes can be quite overwhelming. But the truth is, most of the stuff you learn in school is not all that useful in life. There are actually a lot of useful things that you don't learn in school unless you're specifically enrolled into those courses. So today, I'm going to list out the top 10 most useful skills and lessons that you don't learn in school. With that said, let's get this video started. Just a quick reminder, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please consider subscribing to this channel as I go through many topics ranging from personal finance to overcoming life challenges that are relevant to teens, Gen Z, and millennials in this channel. So in this video, I mostly refer to high schools, but it is also applicable to colleges, so just keep that in mind. Alright, let's start with the very first one. In no particular order, by the way, I'm just following the sequence as I was writing up my list. And the very first lesson that you don't learn from school is personal finance. This is a rather big topic, and possibly one of the most important topics that you don't learn from school, unless you're studying business in college, or you may touch on it very inconsequentially in your economic class if you have that subject in your high school. But then again, more and more people are not going to college, so the importance of teaching personal finance to students in high school is becoming more and more important. Personal finance encompasses so many topics. For example, how to set a budget, how to do your tax, how to save for rainy days or retirement, should you buy or lease a car, should you rent or buy your own property, what is simple interest or compound interest, what is asset and liability, among so many others relating to personal finance. These are all the things that you will need to understand eventually. And some may even need this set of knowledge to make financial decisions at a very young age. So I seriously believe that personal finance should be taught in high schools at the very least. Some of them may even be going to business schools anyway. So it's not too early to learn personal finance. And if you're not convinced enough, let me just state the obvious. The world revolves around money. Someday, you'll be responsible for the finance of your own family. See the importance now? Alright, let's move on to the second one, communication and social skills. Unless you plan to live on the island with nobody around you, you will need to speak and interact with other people. The way you speak to other people, the tone you use, the body language displayed, all can be conveyed and perceived differently. We're now living at a time where we spend the most in social media and on the internet than ever before in history. And it's just gonna get worse in the future, no question about that. More and more courses are taught online, requiring even less human interaction. All these will result in poorer communication and social skills. It would take the same person much longer to learn the same amount of social skills than say 10-20 years ago. I wouldn't be too surprised in 20-30 years from now, everybody would feel so awkward talking to other people in person. I mean, even talking on the phone nowadays is kind of awkward to many people already. Like, why are you calling me? Can't you just text me? See what I mean? If we don't at least learn this important skill from school while we are still physically there, then when are we ever going to learn all these? This is one of the byproducts of technology advancement. Look at Tinder. Do you talk to someone whom you have never met before in person the same way in Tinder? Of course not. If all of your dating experiences are from Tinder, then God bless you. Hope you would know how to speak to that person eventually, because at some point, you will have to meet the other person physically. Moving on to something loosely related to communication and social skills, sitting at number 3 is job finding and career planning. Hey, seniors in high schools are not that young anymore. Some of them will even be looking for their first job after high school. Yet, there isn't enough resources in helping them to prepare for looking for a job or planning for future. And yes, I'm sure there are school counselors who would help them out, but that is still largely optional. Like, do they know how to write a proper resume or cover letter? Do they even know what to expect during interviews? They should also learn that jobs and careers should not define who they are. There is an overwhelmingly large percentage of people who end up working in a field that is not related to what they studied in college. And from experience, many young people got really stressed out about not getting their dream job and had identity crisis. These are incredibly stressful times for young people, yet totally manageable if the right message was passed on to them early on. The next lesson not taught in school is rejection management. Just like mentioned before, not getting the dream job during your first try feels disastrous to many young people, simply because rejection is not something they're used to yet. For so many years, they were in an environment that when one studies hard, they would get a high GPA. Seems fair, but they don't get into their dream school or their dream career, and they don't get the lives they want. Well, guess what? GPA plays a very small role in your life. It is very easy for me to say this, but extremely hard for someone who just graduated. They have never faced that many rejections in their lives before, nor do they understand the concept of successes are made out of failures. With all the successful startups founded by high school and college dropouts, their success will portray prominently in social media. Yet, their journey and all the failed attempts were largely eclipsed by their success. It is definitely becoming more and more difficult for younger people to comprehend the meaning and manage the feelings of failures. And that brings me to the next lesson, competition. During the time in school, students at most were just competing among themselves within the school, and that's not a huge competition per se. They fail to comprehend the fact that the competition out there in the real world is much more intense than they ever imagined. Submitting your application to your dream college, or applying to the job that you have spent so much time writing your resume for, you're no longer just competing with your classmates, but also someone from another school, another town, another city, or even another country. Competition is also hugely unfair. Sometimes someone else gets the position simply because of his or her gender, race, socioeconomic status, or sometimes it's pure luck. And there is nothing you can do about it. The negative outcome of competitiveness in real life affect those who did really well in school in particular. They may be at the top in their school and used to being the person others look up to. Yet in real life, things turn out not to be the case. This happens much more frequently than you imagine. But like I mentioned, social media is very good at passing good stuff around. So you don't hear and see all the struggles many have to overcome all the time. The concept of competition is a lesson that the sooner you learn it, the sooner you can prepare for it. Just gonna have a quick interruption. If you find this video useful, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel, and that'll be much appreciated. Alright, back to the video, and the next one is mental health. So the last little while, I've been talking mostly about rejections, and one of the most unwanted byproducts of dealing with rejections is depression. Depression is one of the most pervasive mental health issues many have to deal with at least once in a lifetime. Almost everyone experiences some form of depression at some point in their lives. It is so common, yet rarely talked about. Because like I said before, negative topics are often underrepresented in social media. And just to be clear, social media and news are not the same thing. Depression can often lead to more severe issues, such as being suicidal. Depression seems to be more and more common among young people because of social media consumption. Depression sufferers often compare themselves with the people they see on social media, without the understanding that people only post what they want others to see. So what they post are often over-glamorized. The statistics are also suggesting that the current Gen Z may be one of the worst hit generations yet. And without question, the next generation, the Gen Alpha, will be hit hard by the shadow of social media also. Other mental health issues such as obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar disorder, eating disorders, body dysmorphic disorder, just to name a very few, are also very common among young people. But you see, many of these issues also affect people across all the age groups. So it is important for people to learn all these mental health issues before they have to deal with one themselves. Unless you study psychology in college, the chance of you being educated sufficiently on these topics are pretty slim. Alright, things got pretty dark for a while, so let's talk about something more fun. The next lesson that you don't learn in school is happiness management. It is a set of skills required for people to translate things into happiness. People often fail to recognize that they are living in times that are worthy to be happy about. They also fail to recognize that happiness is not entitled or given. Happiness takes work. You need to work towards happiness. And one last thing people fail to recognize is that happiness is a journey and process. You don't suddenly just become happy with a snap of a finger. And it definitely takes effort to keep you feeling happy. With the right skill set and mindset, we are able to translate more things in our lives into happiness. With every bit of smaller happy things that we perceive, the happier of a person we become. It is one of the most fundamental and important skills in life that is never too early to learn. The next lesson I have for you guys is time management and self-discipline. This is something you should be taught and applied right away in school. You have tons of homework to do and so many tests and exams to write, and it doesn't seem there would be enough time for you. This is why time management skill is so important in life, especially during school years. You need to learn how you learn things. Everybody learns at a different pace and in different ways. You need to find what works for you, allowing you to learn in the most time-efficient manner, which translates to better time management. And yes, we all procrastinate, but if you are able to manage your time efficiently, then you'll be fine. It's not always how hard you work, but how smart and efficient you work. So learn how to be efficient at whatever you do. Set goals for yourself, list down your tasks, and be determined to stick with it. That takes discipline, but once you learn how, your life will be much easier. The second last one I have here is survival skills. Skills that you may need to use once in a while or even once in a lifetime, but you will be glad you learned them at one point in your life. Give you some examples, like changing the flat tires, jump starting your car battery, starting a fire in the wood, changing electrical switches, performing first aid and CPR, and even self-defense. None of these have day-to-day practical usage for the average person, but it is that one time in your life where you just so happen to know them would save you from all the trouble or even save your life. And if you are motivated, you may also consider doing a zombie apocalypse survival course. Not sure how that is going to be useful though, but it sure sounds fun. And hey, who knows? Another crazy virus might just turn everyone into zombies. You never know. And with that, the final lesson not taught in school is how to be an adult. Stepping out of schools and actually being an adult are not easy because you finally have to be able to take responsibility for all your actions. You had the privilege of dodging your problems and actions in schools, but not in the real world anymore. Being an adult also means able to set priorities. You can't be wishy-washy anymore. Know what is the most important thing presented in front of you. When it comes to having multiple priorities, you need to know how to identify the most important one. Speaking of priorities, being an adult, you need to know that family always comes first. Your family is the one who will stand by you whatever happens. Of course, there are more means to be an adult, but taking responsibility of your actions, setting priorities right, especially family, are some of the most important parts of being an adult. Alright, so that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two. Feel free to leave your feedback in the comment section down below, and if you find this episode useful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel, as this would really help my channel to grow and allow me to make more videos such as this one for you in the future. Alright, thanks for watching and peace out.